can't you show me something I've not seen before? Magic tricks and pirate ships, they just don't work no more. I've given up on treasure chests that wash upon the shore. For fool's gold never seems to keep its shine. Hey, can't you give me something I can hold in my hands? I'm sick of gold rush promises and empty suitcase plans. I won't go back to treasure maps and digging in the sand, for I always seem to lose whatever I find. Yeah, I always seem to leave it all behind. Hey.
Air and water purification. Both the biotic and abiotic ensembles of marine and terrestrial ecosystems play a role in air purification. They act as sponges when it comes to gases in the atmosphere, retaining large levels of CO2 and other greenhouse gases. Moreover, plants also use CO2 for photosynthesis purposes and help producing oxygen, which is essential for almost all animal life on Earth. In food garden, this service is provided by plants and trees, which both trap CO2 and create oxygen. Water purification is another service provided by ecosystems. Pollutants, such as metal and viruses, are processed and filtered out as water moves through wetlands, areas, and forests. This purification process provides clean drinking water and water suitable for industrial uses, recreation, and wildlife habitats. Moreover, forests act as natural absorber of rainwater. The roots of the trees make soil porous and increase absorbing and water holding capacity of the soil. When water steps through the pores of the soils, it gets free from impurities. Maintaining biodiversity. It is true that an increased biodiversity allows more ecosystem services. It is also true that one of the ecosystem services is to maintain biodiversity. Understanding the relationship between biodiversity and an ecosystem stability is essential to the management of natural resources and their services. Thus, maintaining biodiversity is essential because ecosystems are extremely complex, and even little changes can have huge consequences. Because we don't understand them well enough, we can't afford a loss in biodiversity. Thanks to biodiversity, we are able to benefit from numerous services: useful medicine from some plants, interesting ADN from some animals, buffer zone from mangroves, providing shelter, food, and a good equilibrium in order to maintain biodiversity is a great services provided by ecosystem. These services are dependent from other supporting services, such as nutrient cycling, biologically mediated habitats, or even primary production. In food garden, these services are assured by several biotic and abiotic components, such as trees, worms, plants, water, or even temperature. Food and water provisioning for animals. The provisioning services consist of all the products obtained from ecosystems. We think it is interesting to move from an anthropocentric view of ecosystem services and thus consider ecosystems providing benefits for other living beings as well. In this perspective, food garden is a formidable place for animals, providing plenty of food supplies. Because of the large number of plants and trees, a lot of herbivores, mostly insects, live in HQ. These insects can then be consumed by other insects, or lizards, birds, bats. Even if every human could cope with the loot of food garden, those animals living there could face an existential risk. We therefore consider the service provided by food garden as extremely important as well.
The first we say is maintain biodiversity. It can be measured by genes, species, and ecosystems. Especially for tropical weather like Taiwan, We have a wide variety of plants and animals, and it is also the most important issues that respondents pay attention to. So according to the case of food garden, founder effects that can restrict the genetic diversity would be another disturbance for biodiversity. So we think we can increase the number of species which are in the danger of extinctions. And we can tackle with the plants in the middle to make it more adaptable for people, and it makes the ecosystem there be more diversified. The second is pest and disease control. It is very important to a healthy ecosystem, and it is the techniques that can encourage populations of predators, parasites, and pathogens of the species. As for the food garden, we can better up the draining system and the rotten fruits and leaves, so that we can control the pest and disease by the power of ecosystem instead of using pesticides. The third is the recreational services. It gives people a place to relax, enjoy, and learn from nature. But according to the survey we conducted, little people really paid a visit to there. Here are some reasons that we analyzed. We think lack of lights full of mosquitoes are one of the main reasons. So for that, we can clean up more often and using the well-organized devices to make it easier to clean up. The second is that because of its location, it is on the border, so little people really know about that. So we think NTU can promote or hold events there. So the following are the relevance between the survey we conducted. So the first is monthly income and the willingness to pay for the most important eco-services. As we can see, the monthly income between 0 to 20,000, most of them, they are willing to pay between 1 to 100. Only those who have 20,000 more are willing to pay from 101 to 500. But actually, it doesn't really have much differences, and we think it might be a bias since we only have 109 samples. The second is that we would like to see the monthly income and the willing paying price of purification of air and water. As we can see from the chart, no matter the income, the willingness to pay is between 0 to 100. So we assume that the income is not the main reason for the willingness to pay. But for this, as we see the willing paying price and the importance of the conservation of food garden, we can see when they put more emphasis in environmental issues, they are willing to pay more. So we think it is the main reason that affects the price they are willing to pay. As for the age and the willing paying price of the most important ecosystem, as we can see, 25 years old are willing to pay more because they may have higher income. But we assume that there are no much differences since they are still in the same generation. And this we can see the concern for environmental issues and the willing paying price of the garden's entrance fee. People are mostly willing to pay between 0 to $50, except for those that never cares about environmental issues. So we can have kind of conclusion. Those who cares about environmental issues won't necessarily pay higher for food garden. Maybe the thing is not important for them, or they don't think they have the very direct relation between environmental issues and food garden. And the last one, we want to see the frequency of going to food garden and the willing paying price of food garden's entrance fee. As we can see from the chart, no matter the frequency of visiting, the people mostly pay between $50. But we want to specify that for those who never been there, there's still a bunch of people who are willing to pay $50.
cold and afternoons in May. Give me share of the moons that light my way, and I won't ask for fool's gold anymore. Can't you make me feel like I haven't felt for years? Let me laugh like I did when I was a kid, till I burst into tears. Let me count the diamond stars and drink the water crystal clear, and I'll be richer than any man that lives with fear. Singing hey,